Hey folks, we're lucky. We got Sean Heaney back with us again, and Sean's going to step up right now and share some of his work with us as our second feature. Sean Heaney, let's have a hand.
The Luddite hates the mic. This first poem is called The Firebrand. Up there, the turning of the year was winter just beginning. Canadian cold fronts barreled down like old freights across the Georgia High Bridge, over the crackle on the lake of ice fishermen's fires, with a keen sting of crystals in the north wind, chasing the flying figures of skaters, home to watch the ragged flakes like a million riderless white ponies dash against the window picture pane. My father swung the kerosene stove like a lantern to rest in the center of the room, priming then lighting its metallic gasp and hiss into fueled breath of fire. It cast a many-patterned wheel on the ceiling, and the parents retreated to the shadows, mother's voice speaking low to him of an old story, and him saying nothing, tilting back with a bottle of Valley, tracing the label's 3 connected rings of goodness, body, and purity. O fire wheel, heavy planet, burning flower, your radiant circumference is a child's idea of heaven. Star sphere, showing more than stained glass or television. The waking infant in the crib coos and cries to see you there. Brothers and sisters on the floor with singing fingers make shadow animals. The bull, the bird, the hare, move in a ring at the rim of your zodiac glow. They rise and grow to giant size in a hand-holding go-round under your never-sleeping eye in the heat of made-up music, till one of them broke a silver spoke, let go the grasp, and they all fall down. Now winter is a white room lit by a single candle flame. I dip a waxed nail over the tip of the twisted taper and snuff the wick with a burnt fingerprint. In darkness under flickering lids, the sun that is always with me leaves me and rises again on the wall. This is called The Bull in the Garden, and it's dedicated to Mary Collins, who gave me my first book of Yeats and a lot of credence as a poet. The Bull in the Garden. Under the eyes of Mary, I read all night the book she gave me, with roses pressed between the lines of every page, so each verse before my eyes was like a trellis wound with thorns and crimson flowers. I marked my place and let the brown slip cover flutter to the floor. Sliding through the lenses of the glass doors that last night warped moonlight and now at noon hold 2 suns shining, I walked beyond the man-made pond, all along the broken wall, to where shadows move in the cool of a pine grove. In the clearing the bull stood stock still, dark hair matted with musk and sweat, wearing the easy yoke of sunlight on his muscled neck. All power and repose, in such rooted meditation that I saw him standing thus through every season, going from black to white stone and falling snow, letting colored leaves collect around his lowered head, and never stirring when returning birds alight upon his broad back. Nothing draws him out, he draws me in. I sit and wait patiently in brooding resignation, and see myself whole in the ink-black egg of the oracle's eye. Only when the breeze carries the spice and scent of open blossoms on the air, and conjures up a summer bride from flowering rose and clover on the sunlit side of the hill, does he raise his head, to follow his nose and move with the wind, and trample down the arbor of a private garden. Running blind on a maze of winding paths, past low-lying watering holes with a flock of crows mocking and wheeling over him, he plunges headlong through the hedge towards the red triangle of the wine that sparkles in a golden cup. She dances now in front of him, twirling within the flowing folds of a scarlet cloak, the ripple of a floral sheet with a spreading stain of menses. He stamps his feet at the woven hem dragging along the ground, while the coven of her attendants circles around him. Picadors with feathered swords, they stick their silver pins in his hide and stand in the wash and spray of the blood bouquet budding from his side. He turns his horns to her, he thrusts, retreats, dazzled by her many passes. Her cape of many petals blossoms in his brain. He sees red, the crimson tide is funneled through his eye, and he stands confused within a cloud of flowers. She puts smooth hands on the hard crescent and twists his neck to her breast with no fear of being gored, brings him to his knees, ties his feet with a leather thong, and growing from the seething soil, her cry and his, to my withered ear his song. This is called The Watcher. On the beach, the sisters of Nasad pose as graces stripped to the waist. Poised, sullen, languid athletes, their tanned breastplates oiled with an almond cream that mingled with sea spray is bitter on the wind. One sits unmoving, open book in the lotus of her legs, and the glare off the page puts sleep in her eyes, while another kneels behind and spins her hair for her into the tight coil of a psyche knot. The hard sun glint catches on the gold of her comb and mirror, fastening sunspots on the lobes of her ears. A third has snaked a strand of seaweed through the snares of her red hair and wound it down around her arm to tie in a band on her wrist while she cuts a switch from a withered tree. She waves and raises the crooked stick just above the snapping jaws of her leaping dog, and his yelps and bites of empty air is delight to her, laughing behind her darkened shades. I have good eyes. I see these things. I am a ship watcher and have kept my vigil, though nothing has come to pass for hours by my peace. But while the sun is out, I do my reckoning by shadows and the motion of the sea. I have kept the sweep of my gaze so hard along the horizon, squinting to see what might lie beyond it, that I wouldn't see a body burning on the beach, or my ship if it came in now at my feet. So my vision finds distraction in the idling of three girls beside the sea, and my mind makes a war of the swarms of nesting terns that bring the pitch of their attack and singing. The beach at night is a stranger scene, to walk in silhouette against a curve of lights along the cove, where the girl dropped her mirror beneath a rose moon enclosed within a silver ring. Tonight she will show me everything, drawing all the water from the harbor up into heaven, pulling back the veil to reveal a sunken garden, blooming in the desert like an open grave. I could be a pilgrim here, walking on a paved way of glittering fish, where skulls and shells shine like beacons by a foundered star on the radiant brow of the reef become a mountain. In the shadows of bones and the broken anchor, through the dry valley of a scuttled ship, I would gather the locusts of spilt riches that stub the sand along the sundered prow and rotten keel, where the swords of whale ribs are buried to the hilt by the haunted face of the divided maidenhead. But I would cry to part the jellied webs and find myself entwined with the phosphorus viscera of the accursed one hung on a spar, knee-deep in the tangle of rank smelling weeds in the nets of the uncovered bed. I will call on the woman to pour down her jar of oil and water, to flood and fill these steps and shoals again, and give back the sky to clouds and stars that never rise or set, and raise a force to blow this husk in a whirlwind back to shore. In the morning, walk back the way to town and say nothing to anyone of what you dreamed you saw. Be thankful for your dry clothes and the tough soles of the shoes on your feet. Walk the waterfront streets among foreign women, cross-dressers, and fishermen. And when the sisters of Sappho serve you a pearl on the half-shell and the raw bark, smile and swallow it. Tear the bread gently and soak the scud of butter off the top of the clear steaming broth. Then let your eyes rest on the golden bird, a light outside on a wire, and the woman, fresh from her shower, bending down slowly to tie her sandal, drying her hair in the sun.